the noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses. And there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Nahum 3:2-4. Listen, the thunder of the whip and the rattling wheels is nothing but the discord of your own unredeemed thoughts. The prancing horses are your restless imaginings, and the glittering spear the sharp thrust of doubt. See how they gallop across your mind, trampling every budding promise, until your inner garden lies strewn with corpses, dead beliefs you once cherished, yet never allowed to flower. This is the judgment of your unguided imagination, the harvest of sensations sown without the seed of spirit. For within you lies a greater pattern, the tree of life, and until you turn inward to that divine blueprint, the harlot of outward sense will seduce your soul. She sells nations of your intentions to the world's vain riches, trades your true self for fleeting pleasures. Her witchcraft is the glamour of appearances, the illusion that you must grasp the world to be fulfilled. But behold, every corpse upon which you stumble is the slain residue of that world's dominion. Each lifeless shade marks the end of an old belief. Let the risen Christ within you interpret this destruction. He reveals that the death of every false self is the very fertilization of the seed planted in eternity. From these slain forms, the living sap of spirit ascends. A bud appears, your resurrection. No army of doubt can halt the appointed hour. As the prophets declared, the vision you hold, the perfect man, God's pattern, will flower in you. When you cease to barter your divine birthright for sense-born illusions, the tree of life bursts into bloom. The dove of peace descends, and nations of thought bow before your inner sovereignty. This is your victory, the ruination of every lie and the triumph of the one true pattern sealed within your soul. In Nahum's vivid battle scene, the whips crack, the rattling wheels, prancing horses, you are witnessing an inner psychic war. These are the clamorous thoughts, the racing ideas, the emotional surges that pound through your mind when imagination runs unchecked. The multitude of slain and carcasses represent discarded beliefs and past failures piled up in your consciousness. The harlot selling nations and families is your own self-doubt, the seductive voice that peddles conformity and fear. This scripture exposes the birth of manifestation as an inner conflict brought to climax. First comes the chaotic stirring of thought like cavalry trampling fields, then a decisive shift when you refuse the old story, whoredoms. In God's creative law, every outer effect begins as an inner cause. The harlot's power dissolves the moment you recognize it as a false narrative, and the battlefield of your mind clears. There, your inner pattern of redemption awakens like a dormant seed. Buried beneath the tumult is your true power, the capacity to imagine and assume the state of your fulfilled desire as real and present. This is the divine authority to rewrite your inner script. You are not a passive victim of past slain beliefs. You are the sovereign author of every new scene. By consciously refusing to dwell on fear, you activate the creative intelligence within your own Christ pattern to bring a peaceful reality into bloom. As you awaken each morning, begin with a brief inner conversation in which you gently identify one persistent limiting belief, the inner harlot, and then, with quiet resolve, set it aside. Next, invite contrast into your awareness by deliberately imagining its opposite, calm, abundance, joy, as though it already exists. Let yourself feel the deep peace that comes from this victory over chaos, savoring the newfound sense of harmony. Carry that feeling forward throughout your day in the market, during each conversation, even while you wait in traffic, and allow it to bloom in every circumstance. As evening approaches, turn your attention inward once again and review the new story you have lived. Affirm it as fully accomplished, speaking to yourself as though the transformation were already complete. In practicing these steps, the inner battlefields of your mind are turned into fertile soil. The outer chariots of struggle fall silent, and within your imagination, the tree of your life bursts into blossom. Herein lies your divine inheritance, the power to reshape reality from within.